Grant Dalton fires back over America's Cup event fee criticism. Grant Dalton fires back over America's Cup event fee criticism. Team New Zealand boss Grant Dalton says his syndicate won't benefit directly from any event fee, with everything used to run the regatta's day-to-day operations. Grant Dalton's office is in an upstairs corner of the Spartan Team New Zealand headquarters in an old fuel depot. There's nothing that screams out America's Cup winners here other than a few framed photos. The room next door has the designers most on part-time deals at the moment, beetling away on computers to finalize the rules around the radical 75-foot foiling monohull to be introduced. Out of his window is a peek across to the viaduct basin and view of what might be. The Team New Zealand boss is upbeat about the opportunities hosting the America's Cup will bring to Auckland and the rest of the country, but says some of the criticism the team are copying over an event fee has been well wide of the mark. What the favored option for the America's Cup syndicate bases on Auckland's waterfront looks like in digital form. It could be the best ever America's Cup if we create the right environment with the event, Dalton says. You only have to look at Auckland 2000 and 2003. It is still talked about. Team New Zealand believes there's a huge opportunity for the country to maximize its America's Cup win with careful planning over what's required for the 2021 Auckland defence. The America's Cup looms as the only major international event on the New Zealand sporting horizon. Having so recently hosted the Rugby World Cup, the Cricket World Cup and the Masters Games, there's no chance of them returning soon. The cycle of big events coming to New Zealand has run its course. And with France setting a new benchmark with a $407 million hosting fee to World Rugby to hold the 2023 World Cup, dwarfing New Zealand's 2011 levy of $108 million, Kiwis might never enjoy the privilege again. But the Old Mug, sport's oldest trophy, has indeed returned and needs to be maximized. A concept drawing of the foiling monohull to compete in the next America's Cup. Released on November 21, 2017. If we do this right and get this separated between the team and America's Cup event limited, then we can hang on to it. It's not like you are going to have to bid for it in 20 years' time. It could be back again in 3 years' time and the facilities are in place. We'd like to build a legacy even beyond the infrastructure, Dalton said. On Thursday, Auckland Council will make its final decision on where the Cup will be based, with the Wynyard Basin cluster expected to win favor at a cost of around $132 million. There will be central government contribution towards covering those infrastructure costs and an event fee which will go towards the operational running of a regatta that will sail for 3.5 months from December 2020. A digital impression of the 2021 America's Cup village proposed for Auckland. It's that event fee now an accepted ingredient in the costs of staging any global sporting extravaganza that is adding heat to a yachting syndicate that is no stranger to money controversies. Dalton bristles at some of the criticism his team have been copying, frustrated that people have seen the event fee as a handout to the syndicate and that they are perceived as holding the country to ransom over it. Like many Kiwis, Team New Zealand boss Grant Dalton loves his rugby, so he is quick to draw All Blacks analogies as the controversy over an event fee for the next America's Cup in Auckland hounds his syndicate. To suggest that the team should pay. Firstly, I have no idea how we could. But that would be like asking the All Blacks to pay for the World Cup when it was in New Zealand. That just doesn't make any sense, Dalton says. Some people even think it's going in my pocket, not just the team, it's got that extreme in a couple of cases. A separate company has already been formed to run the regattas, called America's Cup Events Limited. It's a replica of the America's Cup Events Authority that ran the last two regattas and received considerable payments to do so, $30 million from San Francisco and $80 million by Bermuda. The event fee will only cover partial costs of the Auckland extravaganza, with Team New Zealand under pressure to find significant sponsorship to top it up. It's not a fee to host an event, an appearance fee, a royalty or anything like that. It's to run the actual event and all the logistics, Dalton insists. He slaps down 3 A3 sheets of paper stacked with lines of print on them smaller than you'll find in your phone book. They are the workings of a budget. The devil is in the detail, and there's plenty of it. There's a need for 26 chase boats for race course perimeter control, umpiring, and health and safety. There are 10 cameras planned for every America's Cup boat and other substantial broadcast costs. Resource consent applications, portaloos, security, insurance, big screens, entertainment, traffic management, fencing, waste collection, a media center. The list goes on and on. You think of anything that happens in an event and it's in our budget to run this thing. It's a golden opportunity to do this event well and get behind it. But to suggest Team New Zealand is trying to extort money out of the government for itself is just trying to cause trouble for no reason. Broadcasting is key, with Team New Zealand determined to return the regatta to free-to-air TV and a state-of-the-art presentation for the digital age. It is a significant factor in the event fee makeup. One of our underlying beliefs is that all of New Zealand and anywhere else should have easy access to footage. In our heart we want everyone to be able to watch it. Dalton won't be drawn on the actual cost of the final budget at this stage, but scoffs at the figure of $116 million that has been prominent in some of the misinformation doing the rounds. That's a farcical figure. It's not even a fraction of that, and running the whole event from A to Z would never even cost a fraction of that. Team New Zealand won't be seeking financial support from the government for their actual sailing program from here after being handed $36 million for the 2013 America's Cup in San Francisco and $5 million bridging funds for both the Bermuda and current Auckland campaigns. In terms of a national investment, subsequent figures showed the major handout out for the San Francisco campaign that fell agonizingly short was repaid in pay taxes alone, as the New Zealand marine industry got heavily involved in work for several syndicates. Projections for financial windfalls from the 2021 event are massive. But the eye-watering numbers and costs and returns often hurt Team New Zealand in what is seen as a rich man's game. The fickle sporting public rally behind them once racing starts in a manner that might even be the envy of the All Blacks. But between cup cycles they seem to get trolled. The hosting issue has even seen the possibility of New Zealand losing the regatta. Italy, where challenger of record Luna Rossa are based, is a viable alternative if Auckland can't come to the party by August 31st at the latest. But there are no intentions to take up offers from Russia and the United Arab Emirates. Those things are real in terms of inquiries, but we keep saying till we are blue in the face that it is not our intention to take it anywhere else, Dalton emphasizes. He pushes his black cap back and folds his arms. He has to rush to another appointment. It's a hectic schedule. 4 years ago he was consumed by just his team, now the team is consumed by trying to set up the regatta structure as well as trying to keep ahead of their opponents on the water. But it's a nice problem to have category because the America's Cup is in New Zealand and that's why we exist. America's Cup 2021, what's next? Thursday, Auckland Council to vote on best of 2 final options for syndicate bases. December, government input and discussions with Auckland Council on cost split. January to July, consent process for bases. July to August, construction begins. Comments are now closed on this article.